Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach, and for today's rules recipe, we're looking at the two-player game, Blossoms. The ingredients that make up Blossoms are 54 flower cards of 6 different types, 6 special action tokens, 3 in each player color, a rule book, a scoring card, and 4 plant pots. To set up the game, shuffle all the cards. Each player receives 3 special action tokens in their color. Place the 4 flower pots in a row in the center of the playing area within reach of both players. Deal 4 flower cards, one above each pot. At the beginning of the game, there must be a different flower above each pot. If you deal a duplicate, discard it and deal the next card in the deck. Shuffle in any discarded cards back into the deck. Place the deck face down within reach of both players. Without looking, discard 1 face down card into the box. This card won't be used in this game. Then, deal 2 face down cards to both players. This is their starting hand. The player who has watered some flowers most recently becomes the starting player. Throughout the game, there are 4 possible actions you can take. One of these actions is growth. It is a mandatory action to begin your turn with. To take this action, you must take the top card from the deck, reveal it, and place it on top of one of the 4 flower pots of a matching flower type. You may take this action as many times as you wish. However, if you ever pick up a card that doesn't match any of the cards in the pots, you must discard it, and that ends your turn immediately. If, while taking the growth action, there's no pot with the same flower type, but there is an empty pot, you must plant the drawn flower in the empty pot by placing the card above it. The second action you can choose to do is, once per turn, you can add one of the cards from your hand to a pot with the same flower type as the chosen card. You cannot add the card if it exceeds the 6 flower limit. Something to remember, after playing a card, you do not draw another one. Additional cards can be drawn after performing the special pruner action. The third action you can perform is a cut action. For this, you'll choose a pot with at least 2 flower cards and take all the cards from it. Put this set in front of you. It will be scored at the end of the game. Each set is treated as separate. You cannot join sets of flowers of the same type, but you can have 2 sets of the same flower. Your turn ends immediately after this action. The fourth and final action you can possibly do is to pass. This ends your turn without cutting a flower. One thing to always remember when taking these actions is that a flower can not be higher than 6 cards tall. If you must add a 7th flower card of the same type, you have bad luck and discard all 7 cards. The flower dies and your turn ends immediately. It is considered bad luck when you are unable to place a flower in a pot during your turn. An additional thing you can do during your turn is take a special action. Once per turn, after taking your mandatory growth action, you can put one of your special action tokens on a pot without any tokens on it. At the start of your next turn, remove the token from the game and discard it into the box. It will have 2 effects. Until your next turn, the flower in this pot cannot be cut and collected by your opponent. Also, at any time during this turn, you can use this pot's action. One of the 4 special actions you can take is the fence action. This allows you to, once per turn, while performing the growth action, ignore bad luck. Discard the card which caused bad luck. You continue your turn instead of finishing it. The rake special action allows you to peek at the top 3 cards from the deck and put them back on the top of the deck in any order. The watering can special action allows you to add any one card from your hand to the bottom of any flower in any pot. This card now counts as that type of flower, making the flower taller. You cannot, however, exceed the 6 card limit. The last special action on a pot is the pruner action. This allows you to draw a card from the deck and add it to your hand. Do not show it to your opponent. The end of the game is triggered when the last card is drawn from the deck. The active player plays their turn. If that player was the starting player, their opponent skips the growth action and can still perform the plant and cut actions. And if they still have a special action token, use the watering can. This allows both players to get the same number of turns. The two categories of scoring are the total heights of each of your flower sets, along with the total different types of flowers you have. This scoring card allows you to remember how many points each of these is, with the numbers on the left being the number of cards in the set, and the numbers on the right being the amount of points. In this example, the player would score 3 points for his first set of flowers, since there are 3 in it, 1 point for each of his second and fourth sets of flowers, since there are only 2 cards in each of those, and then a grand 15 points for his large 6-card long flower. He will also score an additional 6 points since he has 4 different flower types. Add all these totals up to get your grand total, and the player with the most points wins. In the case of a draw, the player with the most unplayed special action tokens wins. If the tie remains, we recommend playing another game of Blossoms. That was a quick rules explanation of Blossoms. If you have any further questions on the game, please leave them in a comment below. Otherwise, check out our other videos on the game. Thanks for watching, and keep on nibbling.